The second issue, ikhwan, that we remind our brothers of, and we are soon to launch the affair on a second occasion, and that is the affair, ikhwan, of the expansion of the masjid. For the brothers and the sisters who have been establishing the Jumu'ah here, and likewise the Qiyam, and the other such events, you'll see, ikhwan, that we, without doubt, we filled now the masjid to capacity. And so the extension, ikhwan, is elementary for us right now. So we're going to push and move full steam ahead with raising for the extension on the masjid. And the extension, of course, ikhwan, it will extend and begin from the back of the masjid to the end of the area that we have here. And that then, ayyuhal ikhwah, is what we encourage our brothers and sisters and remind our brothers and sisters of the fact that we are rapidly running out of time, the time that we have been allocated, the planning permission, ikhwan, it is rapidly running out. And we must begin our build before the time runs out. And I believe we have less than a year left upon the period that we have been given. And so, ikhwan, it is imperative that we begin and we start work on the extension for the masjid. And of course, ikhwan, this is a continuation of the khair that was present in our initial raise and our initial contribution towards the building of the masjid. Since everyone who contributed towards the building of the masjid, of course, ikhwan, is the one who contributed with sincerity, then his ajr and his reward is with Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is thabit and established. Those who didn't contribute or wish to contribute further, ikhwan, and this, of course, this final phase of the establishment of the house of Allah Azza wa Jal is still here, a beautiful opportunity for you. For you to put something forward, ikhwan, for the hereafter. No one benefits from this other than ourselves. Ourselves and our families, we benefit in our deen, and our children will benefit, ikhwan, in that which is to come after us. And as far then as this great action, then rest assured, ikhwan, that the amount that will be gathered, the amount that is collected, that you'll be informed of where we are in terms of how much we've raised, and where we need to be in terms of our goal. And similarly, when we start the build, of course, ikhwan, as we did with the first phase of the building of the masjid itself, we'll keep all of the community in tune with what is happening in terms of our build, what is needed, or where we are, and what may be needed in terms of manpower. But in terms of this phase and this stage, ikhwan, that which we need are contributions. And the contributions have slowed down. And so we encourage, particularly in this month of Ramadan, as occurs in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أجود الناس بالخير. Prophet ﷺ was the most generous of the people. وكان أجود ما يكون في رمضان. And he was the most generous in Ramadan. And ikhwan, of course, the wealth that we amount and the wealth that we have, other than that which we have used for khair and we have sent forward to the hereafter, then ikhwan, it remains here in the dunya. Let us use some of that wealth and send it forward. And what better, ikhwan, than to contribute to the building of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of that wealth will be lost. None of that wealth will be lost. In fact, ikhwan, it will be greatly multiplied. And for the one who has yaqeen and certainty in the meeting with Allah and the standing before Him, then he will have yaqeen that that which he puts forward will be multiplied and will be recorded with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not be lost. And so we encourage our brothers and our sisters then with the establishment of this, the house of Allah Azza wa Jal, and with gathering between the extension, the establishment of the house of the masjid, and following the sunnah of being generous and charitable during this month of Ramadan. And of course we remind you of the hadith of the Messenger ﷺ, whoever builds a masjid كَمَفْحَسِ قَطَاطٍ, whoever builds a masjid like the nesting place of the sand grouse, which is a small nest that a bird, one of the birds that lives in the desert, that he builds, small, maybe 5 inches by 5 inches in size. Whoever builds a masjid like the nesting place of a sand grouse, that Allah Azza wa Jalla will build for him a masjid in Jannah. And some of the scholars, they mention that includes the one who extends a masjid by that amount. that Allah Azza wa Jal will build for him a house in Jannah. And so, of course, ikhwan, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to establish this masjid, to complete it, ikhwan. It was a beautiful action that we have started, and alhamdulillah, we've been using it now for 2 years or so. A beautiful act for those who participated in it. The opportunity to participate is still present, so we encourage you to do so, ikhwan. May Allah Azza wa Jal reward you with good. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يوفقنا وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضاه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد.